Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I'd just like to give you an idea of how it can go sometimes with meeting subs. We often get letters which predict that they are going to be coming to our area and that they'd like to meet, which we always enjoy. Always makes for good videos, and they're interesting because everybody has their own story to tell. Well, yesterday, the day before yesterday, we had a note, a text from a Bob, and Bob said, just to remind you, we're meeting on Monday. I'm thinking, Bob, and it just didn't register, and so we just thought that it was a mistake. I looked on Messenger and I looked for a thread. Now, normally if someone has tried to get in touch with us and is preparing to meet, then there's a series of messages, obviously, where they say we're coming in a couple of months, and then say we're coming next month, and then it's next week, and there's a logical progression. Bob was invisible. I didn't find anything for Bob. Anyway, we arranged on Monday, so we didn't think anything of it again. We assumed it was a mistake because we couldn't find any record of it. So Monday, as you may have seen on one of the videos, we decided that we were going to take off for maybe a day or two, or maybe even 3. And so we're in Taliban, and we've just bought a pizza. We've just bought a pizza and a Nazago coffee style drink, iced drink, and I was sitting in the car with the AC on, quite comfortable, when we get a message, and of course it's from Bob, and he says we're in Taliban. Oh my God, what's going on? So we put 2 and 2 together and got 5, and we assumed that he had gone and that it was now going to be a mess, because we assumed that he was actually meeting somebody else that also has a wife named Beth. So now we don't know quite what to do, so we send a message, are you sure you've got the right person? And here Bob writes back, texts us back and says, yes, we're in Challans right now, and we arranged this a little while ago. I'm so embarrassed. I thought it was a senior moment, which it turned out to be something close to that. Well, we then texted and said we cancelled our arrangement to go. We got a change of clothes in the back of the truck, and we finished our pizza and drink, half finished the drink, and we parked next to a black SUV in the parking lot, which turned out to be Bob's. We went into Challans, and as soon as we started talking, well, it just seemed like a complete mystery. It was only when I came back and actually was looking at some of my messages that I saw Robert Hull. Bingo. Then I had all of the messages from Robert, Bob, and I knew exactly what. Now the thing is, it didn't really matter, because we hooked up in the end. We had a great time. We'd already had lunch, but we went in, we had a soft drink, and we learned that Bob and Annalyn have had a child, their little boy that they had with them, who they had in vitro, and they had a lot to tell us. We learned a lot about that, It's not a walk in the park, believe me. And they convinced us of that. Well, it turns out that they had come from Tagbilaran, and yes, did we park next to the black SUV? Yes, yes, we certainly did. So we had a very pleasant few hours chatting, and then finally said goodbye so that Bob and family could get on the road and get back to their digs in Tagbilaran, Panglao I think it was, before it was dark. As you may have heard me talk about this, the road to or out of Tagbilaran is not a place to be driving at night. It's just too risky, too many motorcycles with no lights, too narrow a road for the big traffic that goes on it, and for pedestrians and all the other kinds of hazards which we talked about before. So we said goodbye to Bob and Annalyn and the family, and we were very happy to have met them, as you will hear and see in other videos. So that was our day on Monday, and today we took another drive out, and we went out to and we had a very, very pleasant time, and we made some videos. That's how it works for us. That's what we do. So that was just a catch up, just to let you know how sometimes our life does get anything but simple, and we can get in quite a mix-up. And this is why when anybody ever wants to meet us, they really should keep in good contact with us on a soon to be. The closer that you get, the more that you should be on a day-to-day basis, so that it's impossible for us to forget and to mistake the time and day that we're going to meet. Believe me, out here, the only day that really means anything to me is the Sunday, which is when I am depended on by a load of kids and folks coming into church, and they depend on me to pick them up and get them to church, and then afterwards in some way we'll get them home, either by tricycle or in the truck. So it can get to be a mix-up about the days. They're totally meaningless to me, except when it gets to Saturday. I know that the kids are home, and they're not. That's Talitlik and Bibi and the other guys. They're at home, and I know that it's not a school day. So those are the marking days, the weekend, which actually I guess is the same for anybody, isn't it? Everybody looks forward to, especially when they're in a nightmare job, which a lot of people are. So that's it. If you are thinking of visiting and you've got it dated in there, you've got it penciled in that you're going to come and see us, we would love to see you. We would love to meet you, and we would suggest you keep in close contact with us so that we can't have a mix-up. It would have been terrible if we had embarked without that reminder from Bob. If we had embarked on our few days away, I would have felt so bad, because Bob and his family made a 3-hour trip down from Tagbilaran just to meet us, and so we really wanted to be there, and we really had a great time. Thanks, Bob and Annalyn. Great to meet you. We hope to see you again, and certainly we would welcome you as neighbours if you decide that this is the part of the world that you would like to be when you come to the Philippines. So anything that we can do to help. This is Foreigner in the Philippines. Good night for now.